You know what? For this next segment, we're going to take a little journey. Yes, we are. If you have ever had a song in your heart that went something like this: I wish I knew what it felt like to be free, then you need to go with me to Paris, baby, because everybody feels free in Paris. And in Paris, there is a certain street going back in the early 80s that was the center of jazz. Yeah, baby, Rue des Lombards. Say Rue des Lombards. Rue des Lombards, yeah. Now, what that comes from is there was a group of people who migrated from Scandinavia down through Germany and into Italy, but in the medieval times they set up a banking district in this portion of Paris. And out of respect for that culture, the street is named Rue des Lombards, the street of the Lombards. It is no longer a banking area. Oh no, baby, it's now a jazz area. You see, in 1983, a club opened up called Sunset Sunside. And they started booking jazz and only jazz in there. You could get your drink on, you could get a little eating on, and you could get live jazz. And people flocked to Rue des Lombards for what was happening at the Sunset. This is in 83. Well, there were three brothers who were checking this out. They were from the Caribbean, and they were like artists and musicians and this and that, trying to make a living. And they went, that looks like a good idea over there. Maybe we should do something similar. So very shortly after Sunset opened up, La Bercier et Soleil opened up by these three Caribbean brothers. And at first, it was kind of like a cafe. And then it was a cafe where you could drink and listen to jazz intermittently. A little group here, a little group there. And then jazz was like a standard group 5-6 nights a week. And of course, the drinking was 7 nights a week. And this platform blew up. And so people are now flocking to two clubs, and smaller clubs are opening up as well. But the Sunset and La Bercier et Soleil, they were the kingpins of Rue des Lombards. By 1984, La Douce des Lombards opened up as the third main jazz club in this area. It was bigger, a little bit more swank, cost a little bit more to get in there, that kind of thing, but it was a jazz club. And before you know it, this street was littered with jazz clubs. Now, some were doing a combination of jazz and, R&B and blues and this and that, but the most common music that you could hear in Paris at that time was jazz, especially on this street, Rue des Lombards. So remember, we started out with just one club, Sunset, and then La Bercier, Soleil, and then the Douce des Lombards, and then there were jazz clubs everywhere. Now, this is not the only place that there was jazz in Paris. Of course, there's been jazz in Paris since the turn of the century. But to have one section of Paris where you can walk up and down the street and in and out of clubs for as far as you can see and hear jazz and jazz and jazz and jazz and jazz, that's a new thing. Beginning in about 1983 with the opening of the Sunset And remember, in the Renaissance, this was a banking area. So I guess we got to say that the jazz was banking in 1983. Thank you very much.